Samford Terriers trying to sustain that momentum tonight.
Well, that's absolutely right. You're at 6-2 now. This is a big one. Puts you up towards the top of conference standings. Furman very much in the mix to win the Southern Conference, as is Samford. Tremendous game today with some tremendous competitors on the floor.
Great atmosphere on a Wednesday evening here in the Southern Conference. Furman in the whites, Samford in the road navies, and the opening tip controlled by the Bulldogs. As you take a look at the starting five for Samford, presented by Bonds. Of course, who's back in there? We talked about Quez Glover. First game starting since he's been back.
20 points in his first game back after missing nearly a month and an early turnover. Furman, if they can get out and run, that's when they're at their best. Jalen Slauson, the young man with the ball, he's going to be aggressive early.
There you see the Bonds, of course, starting five for the Paladins. Garrett Heen not available tonight, coming off that concussion against Wofford last time out. That gives Alex Williams a chance to hop in the starting five. And boy, he's a big factor for this Furman team, as Terrence, your keys to the game.
Well, you see Samford fire away. This is one of the best three-point shooting teams, not only in the conference, but the country. And they have to guard without fouling. They do a pretty poor job of keeping people out of the paint. But this is what Jalen Slauson can do. Get him out and running. Excellent defense, limiting Quez Glover. That's another key to the game.
Jermaine Marshall picks up the foul, the 6'6" junior out of Brighton, Alabama. As you take another look, Slauson picks his pocket. Marshall, the reigning Southern Conference Player of the Week, coming in averaging over 15 points and 12 boards a game.
Well, he's a really nice player. Big, broad shoulders, number 4. You got to get out in front, take that to the chest, and that's going to be an offensive foul. But good aggressiveness, Jalen Slauson here early. It takes the three-point attempt from the top of the key, but where he makes his presence felt is on the defensive end.
Foster pump fakes into the lane, out to Williams. Williams will step inside the arc, his jumper in and out, then rebound taken down by Marshall.
How good was Williams against Wofford? I mean, knocking down some really difficult shots from the corner everywhere. This is going to be a physical game. Logan Dye, number 22, who was able to draw that foul. He's one of these guys, country strong is what I like to say. The Alabama native really gets down low, tries to establish position, and he's not afraid to get a little down and dirty. Alex Williams, need to move your feet, though.
It was Alex Williams you mentioned, along with J.P. Pegues. Big nights on that national televised win against Wofford as Slauson grabs the board. Furman played most of that game, Terrence, with Garrett Heen went out early, and then you had Tyrese Huey, who was unavailable for the game Sunday. So a lot of grit out of Coach Bob Ritchie's squad to win that. Really a couple keys down.
Well, absolutely, and that made them play a little bit differently. Having to go a little bit more small ball, that opens the floor a lot more. Jalen Slauson, he can't get his second foul. That's tough if you're Furman. He needs to be really careful without as much depth from the bench today.
You see dribbles it off his leg and then was trying to get the basketball back. His first, team second here, just underway, scoreless between the Bulldogs, 8-0 in the Southern Conference. Furman at 6-2 in the league. See Samford very good defensively, top of the league in steals per game. They like to pressure the basketball.
Really like what Furman's doing here early, forcing the catches a little bit further out. But Logan Dye, he's really improved in this area. Nearly a 40% three-point shooter is the big fella. He allows them to play 5 out at times and also have a rim presence guy when you need somebody to score with their back to the bucket.
Slow start offensively for both of these teams. Furman over 80 points a game. The Bulldogs over 76 points a game. Like to light up the scoreboard. Slauson down low. Turnaround hook shot is good. Terrence, a little game within the game. Do you bring the double against Slauson there? Maybe faked it and let the big fella go one-on-one.
There's excellent patience. That's what you get when a player is a little bit older. Jalen Slauson facing away the double team, ball faking to get that second guy away.
Three-pointer off the mark, bounced around to Bothwell. Furman wants to go quick. Bothwell gets it into the front court. Now we'll slow things down.
This is an underrated portion of Mike Bothwell's game as well. But that second defender digging down, you're going to have to make a decision quick. He's able to draw the foul against a smaller Bubba Parham.
Bubba Parham, I say Southern Conference. How do I recognize him? Of course, started his career up at VMI, Virginia Military Institute, before Georgia Tech and now Samford. We talked about this series going all the way back to the 1920s. Last time they met, Furman overcame a big deficit to advance to the Southern Conference Finals. You know a tidbit about that first game, Terrence? We talked about offense here. There wasn't much offense back in the 1920s.
No, what was it, 25-21, first game ever between these two contests. They might score that before the third media timeout at about 8 minutes. Doesn't look like that right now, but at the same time, these are two potent offenses with so many different weapons, and man, how has the game changed. 25-21. So this game could very well be in the 80s.
Bothwell 1 of 2 from the line, comes in 83% on the year. Leads this Furman team nearly 20 points a game. Slauson and Foster also averaging double digits for this Furman squad. Here's Glover, athletic move off the mark. Good job defending without fouling.
J.P. Pegee showing off his quick feet, and now he's off to the races as well. Big time move by the sophomore from Nashville. Was excellent last game against Wofford as well.
Yeah, big time points in Spartanburg. It showed some explosion there. Step back three on the way, knocked down. That'll calm things down. Bubba Parr, how quick is his shot?
He's tough to guard, and you mentioned he was at VMI. This game's going up and down, Brian. I'm going to need to get out of your way, but Bubba Parham, that'll be a charge. Pretty easy call. I like his aggressiveness. Take your time. Let the game flow a little bit. That'll be 2 fouls on Williams. And here comes Ben Vanderwall, who's been a nice player for Furman. But going back to Bubba Parham, number 1, he's going to be the guy bringing the ball up the floor. He is somebody that can get hot in a hurry. When he was at VMI, led the Southern Conference in scoring. He doesn't operate in the same manner playing for Samford, but he still has that explosive big game potential as he airmails a floater.
Here comes the Paladins back the other way. Furman is a team that likes to get up and down the floor quickly. Samford so far doing a good job getting back in that transition defense. Slauson over to Vanderwall and back to the big fella. Seeing some patience early by this Furman offense.
Look at the post and repost. Then you have a step-up screen, and Pegues can attack the rim. Nice move. Faking the pass back. He has the baseline wide open. Jermaine Marshall a little bit too late on help side. We don't have a whole lot of points so far, Brian. But at the same time, you can see the intensity and the passion both of these teams are playing with. 5-3. They're going to have to pick it up offensively.
Out was J.P. Pegues. You mentioned what he did over in Spartanburg. He really kept the Paladins in that game and then pulled them ahead.
Well, Furman would love to have a third scoring option. J.P. Pegues is starting to step in and be that guy. 26, 8, and 4. Those are big-time numbers, and he did it in a fairly efficient manner. Got to the free throw line, knocked down some timely threes from the perimeter. This J.P. Pegues, he's on the backside of his sophomore year now. This is when you see a man really mature and grow into his point guard position.
J.P. Pegues, he'll be going to the line for 2 as these two teams break the huddle. Hey, you talked about maybe a slow start offensively, just 8 points combined the first 4 minutes, but you can see how quickly the potential these two teams had. Furman 96 the last time out.
And I love the pace that both teams have opened this game with, Brian. The ball is moving, it's popping. Samford's attacking early within the offense, and Furman, they're looking for a lot of second side action if they don't have that initial option. As really, you have to have a jersey the same color as your
undershirt.
Yeah, of your undershirt. So that's why he's pulling a little Magic Mike over there on his bench. But J.P. Pegues, I mean, you need a third scoring option. You know that Mike Bothwell and Jalen Slauson are going to get theirs. Who's going to be that extra guy that you can rely on with consistency? If J.P. Pegues can do that, that really helps move things forward on the offensive end. Where he really thrives, though, defensively, you're going to see he's going to be matched up with Quez Glover for the majority of this game. He's got really quick feet, can stay in front. Quez Glover's got his hands full, as does Pegues.
Something Pegues did well some days. Get to the rim, really showed some explosion off the dribble. Furman back with a 3-point lead here. Samford basketball coming out of this first media timeout. Something to watch. Jermaine Marshall does have that one personal foul. Of course, you have Furman on the bench with 2. Alex Williams. Here's another turnover and a steal, and Foster will slow things down.
Smart move, Marcus Foster. This is him becoming an older player, understanding, hey, we work in the half court. I can attack off some screens, and that's the result. And Mike Bothwell can't finish. Excellent offensive possession, though.
Everything but the layup. Furman's some uncharacteristic mix early. Then quickly the other way, Marcus Foster sends Quez Glover's layup out of bounds, and he'll stay with the Bulldogs. Still 24 on the shot clock. Nice job without fouling Glover.
That's absolutely right. And this is going to be a 40-minute contest. You see the slide over and help side. Marcus Foster, general awareness. Knowing Quez Glover, he's here to score.
J.P. Pegues checks out a little bit banged up, something to keep an eye on. He cramped up late in that UNCG game, a game that Furman had in control. Now you're going to see a little bit more out of Carter Witt, the Wake Forest transfer, coming to his own. He has some high upside, and See Carter Witt get more and more minutes, maybe ahead of Joe Anderson a little bit. There's Marshall, runs into Vanderwall, offensive foul, and that's big. That's the second on the junior out of Alabama.
That's a huge one. The junior out of Alabama that you referenced, that's the reigning SoCon player of the week. And Ben Vanderwall, this young man, throughout the course of the season, just does winning things. He takes charges. That was a close call. He got him on the side. However, correct guarding position, was able to get in front, draw the charge. But Samford coming out, really pressuring the basketball early. Now you open up the floor for Carter Witt. This is where he can be really good.
He finds an open Vanderwall. That three-pointer off the mark. Furman, a good three-point shooting team, comes into the basketball game over 35% on the season. That open look, though, Carter Witt able to beat the press, drew the defense in. And there, another turnover here for the Bulldogs. That's tipped around out of bounds. It is Furman basketball. Early on, Samford turning it over already 6 times.
That's absolutely right. The activity level on both sides. So you have turnovers for Samford. You have a lot of missed layups and open shot for Furman. Samford needs to clean that up, at least get a shot on every possession. We're over 5 minutes into the game. We only have 3 points. You got to find ways to knock in your bunnies, your easy ones, your layups, your open corner threes. Both teams.
Hey, what a show out by this Furman students. Student section full on the far side and the baseline. Wednesday night, a lot of things going on. Great atmosphere here in Timmins. Again, the full court pressure in the backcourt. Furman able to beat it. Here's Whitt into the lane. He'll take the elbow jumper. That one's in and out. Furman now just 2 of 7 from the floor.
You can see Carter Witt's confidence gradually growing as the season goes on, but nice move.
All the way down, laying it in. Nathan Johnson, the senior out of Iowa, cuts it to a 1-point game.
A Maryland-Baltimore County transfer. Nice player, more of a shooter. Has gotten cold over the last 5 games. He's shooting 7% from 3, but he has the type of form that would suggest he could hit somebody to keep an eye on.
Shot clock down to 10. Here comes the trap to Huey. Bothwell had Vanderwall in the corner, now 4 to shoot. Bothwell finds some space. He'll let it fly and knock it down. Bothwell now has 3.
And I like what Furman did on that possession. Why? Because Samford is switching their defenses up. They're playing full court man. They're trapping on first pass inbounds, and then they're getting back into his zone. Just continue to run your offense, but that's a big time move.
Jaden Campbell, junior out of Ontario. You see Samford, a couple matchups they like, trying to take this Furman defense off the dribble. J.P. Pegues will check back in for the Paladin, as well as Alex Williams. So, well, Bob Ritchie, trusting his sophomore, comes back in there with these 2 fouls and gonna say, hey, you gotta play smart. It's Stanton McCray all over Carter Witt in the backcourt.
So full court pressure, back into a 2-3. Carter Witt, the only thing is he finds his rhythm when the game goes faster. An excellent pass by him. It's the 3rd layup that Furman has missed, but there have certainly been opportunities.
Say that never hit the rim. Shot clock down to 5. Slausson's got to go quick. 3, and he's going to dribble it off his foot out of bounds. No, they're going to say off the Bulldogs, but the shot clock's at 0, so they're going to say a shot clock violation. I think they'll put 1 second back on the shot clock, and Furman will have to get a quick catch and shoot on the inbounds. Williams' layup, they're going to say never hit the rim, and that avoided the shot clock reset. Well, both teams just 3 of 9, but yet a 1-point game. There's Pegues. We'll just have to launch it on. Knock it down. J.P. Pegues.
Timmins Arena on its feet. J.P. Pegues from way beyond the arc.
Bucky McMillan doesn't like the fact 1 second was put back on the clock. Trying to answer quickly is Stanton McCray. That's off the mark. Skying for the rebound. Offensive board. Back out to an open Campbell, who in and out can't knock it down. And it's going to be a 3rd chance here for the Bulldogs. Just feel the intensity, Terrence, ratchet up a bit.
Both teams trying to take hold at the top of the league. But it's amazing, really good defensive possession. Stanton McCray, he can create some things for himself. Big time finish.
Up and under, tough angle. Alex Williams didn't want to pick up that 3rd foul. Bucky McMillan still upset about that last shot clock possession.
I'm amazed by the level of talent for both teams on the floor right now. Bryant, nice pass.
Tried to tap it back in. It's saved into the front court. Still loose under the basket. There's Slauson. He's able to lay it in.
Those extra effort plays are the kinds of plays that could turn this game up.
Pump fake into the lane with it to Johnson. He'll be fouled. And it'll be Samford basketball. When we come back, Terrence, you want an offense starting to pick up a bit.
Absolutely. The pace has picked up to a high level. Both teams sharing the ball. Now Samford getting back on the horse, creating some isolation situations for themselves. But how about JP McGee's? He's on target from way downtown. We got a ball game. 2 turnovers to go along with those 2 fouls.
See Marshall on the bench. He'll stay there with those 2 fouls. Samford basketball coming out of the timeout. You see how quickly the Bulldogs like to get off the court, even on a Furman-made basket.
Well, that's exactly right. So there's no rest. You make a bucket as Furman, and you have to match up quick, fast, and in a hurry. And sometimes it's not going to be your man per se. Right, Bryant? You get back, you match up, you have to communicate. Sometimes you're going to be guarding a bigger player. So if Carter Witt's getting back on defense, he ends up on Logan Dye. That's something you're going to have to live with.
Bulldog basketball coming out of the timeout. Furman shooting now 45%. The Bulldogs here at 33%. Looking to drive baseline with it as Campbell lays it in. Athletic move.
Come on. Really athletic move. Campbell, an excellent 3-point shooter. He can take it to the cup, too. Felt like he stayed in the air forever. That'll be a foul on Quez Glover, though. A little too physical out on the perimeter.
How hard is it to miss an extended period of time and then come back in and, you know, try to make the same impact that everybody's expecting you to make, and that's what Quez Glover's trying to do.
Well, he certainly did that in their first game back against Western Carolina and ended up with 20 points. There's not a lot of guys who can do that, but he's wired to score, and that's a wide open one for Marcus Foster. That's one you got to knock down.
I say out of bounds. The referees are going to have a conversation with who it last touched. Originally, it's Samford Furman students trying to correct it and give him the assist there, and it's going to be Furman basketball. Did not hit the rim, so the shot clock will stay at 14.
It's always good when the football players help out.
Right there on the court. Furman 2-point lead with the basketball. Slauson looking to back down Campbell. Turn, foul, basket doesn't call, but it'll be Slauson at the line going 2. Slauson showed some patience here in the early going, especially down low.
When you know that double is coming, they don't have a ton of interior scoring in a traditional sense, but what they do have is a Jalen Slauson who can either attack facing up or take his time and score in the post because he's such a big and strong athlete.
First one good, one more upcoming. Furman now 3 of 5 from the line tonight. Knocks them both down, back to a 4-point game. Furman has led by as many as 5. That was in the beginning at 5-0. Bulldogs here have yet to lead in the first half. As quick 3-pointer on the way, that's off the rim. Bulldogs now just 1 of 6 from long range.
Both teams contesting at a high level. Furman's pace of play right now has been impressive. Slauson needs to be ready to shoot. He needs to be careful right here.
Mismatch, send it out to Pegues. He'll send it out to Foster. Furman passing up some good shots, maybe for the great shot this possession. Shot clock down to 8. Slauson top of the key, thought about it. Now 5 to shoot. He's sizing up Logan Dye. Shots on the way, a bit too strong. Gets his own rebound, spins, lays it up, and gets the roll. Jalen Slauson now has 8, and the Paladin lead is pushed to 6.
It's that extra possession that really matters. Logan Dye tries to contest the shot. You have to finish the play with a box out.
Glover partially blocked. He gets the pass off. See, like Slauson, Pegues, a couple of them might have had an open look at 3, didn't take it. That contested jumper, long rebound into the hands of Carter Witt. He has the potential to be the X factor. Sends it up, quick trigger 3, Bothwell on the way, count it. And the Paladin lead is 9 and 22-11 as Bucky McMillan hurries his team up the floor.
And that's Carter Witt making plays in transition and finding Bothwell, who loves that corner 3. But watch out, JP Pegues all the way down.
Late whistle. And it'll be Pegues at the line for 2, and it looked like Everybody was expecting the layup as Slauson needs a big break. And look, that's going to get Marshall back into the basketball game. A critical time here with 2 fouls, but Bucky McMillan sees his team down 9.
Excellent aggressiveness. J.P. Pegues getting out in transition. Nobody stops the basketball. Nobody's going to stop you, Brian. Don't bother stopping yourself. Make a play at the rim. That's what J.P. Pegues did.
First free throw is knocked down. Furman finds himself up 10. One more upcoming. Furman's 7-0 run over the last 128. It's all coming on the defensive end, getting rebounds, getting steals, and now Pegues knocks them both down. Furman up 11. Well, you like Coach McMillan playing through this?
I do right now, because you have your veteran point guard on the floor, Quez Glover. He's a guy that can go on an 8-0 run all by himself, and you have that veteran presence to where, hey, things aren't going great right now. Doesn't mean my guy can't make a play for him.
Stanton McCray trying to reverse layup, athletic move. That's the second time he's gotten through the baseline and finished on the reverse.
And shows good patience. He was on the SoCon all-rookie team, and then last year had to redshirt because of injury. But he certainly has that ability to score around the basket. Samford continuing to stay in this zone pressure. Now a 3-2, and those corners are going to be open. And Carter Witt, he's going to make you pay.
Carter Witt from beyond the arc. 10 of 32 coming into the basketball game. Furman pushes the lead to 12, and a quick whistle timeout. And I can say 2 hands going. That's going to be the first on Tyrese Huey. 15 foul, and they'll get Jalen Slauson back into the basketball game. Hey, veteran move there by Bothwell. Kind of came over and said, shake it off, big fella. Just try to get wide.
That's right. Maintain your be that veteran presence. Get guys to calm down.
Quez Glover, 0 of 4 from the field, yet to score here for the Bulldogs. Trying to lob it down low. Nice pass there to Dye. He uses the pump fake. Finds Stanton McCray, who's able to finish. How about Stanton McCray? He's adding up. He has 6 points.
And they've
3 of 4.
Yeah, and they've all been around the rim. And that was Logan Dye staying patient when receiving the pass into the post. Doesn't go up. He knows the shot blocker that Jalen Slauson is. Stay on the floor, and you can make something happen that way.
Pegues off the mark. Battle for the rebound. Still loose underneath. Here come the Bulldogs away with it. Quez Glover into the front court. Furman focusing on trying to stop the basketball when it's in the hands of Quez Glover. Into the lane, maybe a little shoulder, not called. Floater up, no good. Slauson with the rebound. 3rd board for the 5th year. Witt finds a trailing Foster, thought about a 3. Loose underneath, they'll let him go and rattle home the floater. Foster with 2 and a timeout taken by Bucky McMillan.
And Furman's patience when they're getting into the paint is paying huge dividends, off to a 12-point lead here early. Marcus Foster showing that he's coming of age. He's one of those guys to look out for in the future for the Paladins as well.
27-15 Furman. He'll go to the full media timeout. We'll take it with him. 8:06.
Man, showing his patience in finishing shots there.
After the timeout, it will be Samford basketball. That was going to go down as the under 8 media timeout on the Bulldog called timeout. Furman defense been big early. One-handed jam, though, by Jermaine Marshall. The big fellow, limited minutes with those 2 fouls, making his presence known.
And I love the action. He comes up, sets the ball screen, and slips to the rim. Help side by Ben Vanderwall, coming over a little bit too late. Jermaine Marshall, he knows what to do with it. You give him a head of steam.
Mike Samford staying in that 2-3 zone. Maybe now mixing the man-to-man, it looks like. They've morphed defenses here for the first 12 minutes. Slauson looking to go one-on-one. Sends it to the corner. Bothwell, 5 on the shot clock. Over to Pegues with 4. One more Foster. 2 to shoot. Foster's going to let it go. Misses it. Gets his own rebound. And Furman's going to have another opportunity. Pegues tries to take advantage. That's short. Logan Dye skies for the board.
And at first glance, you say, hey, was that second shot a little bit too quick? Absolutely not. Whenever a team gets an offensive board, oftentimes that's the best time to get that opportunity for an open look. J.P. Pegues just not able to convert.
Alex Williams. Alex Williams, J.P. Pegues, Foster, Slauson in there for the Paladins. Bothwell to take a seat. Ben Vanderwall got whistled for that last foul, his first team 6, so both teams will be in the bonus the rest of this first half.
That's a nice move. Jermaine Marshall going baseline. But Furman, same thing. No rest for the weary. You better get back on defense.
Air ball. Alex Williams, though, puts it back, misses a layup. A quick 4-0 Samford one. They've hit 4 of their last 5 from the field. Marshall the spark. Now Marshall working against Williams. Williams has those 2 fouls, and now he has 3 and a chance for a 3-point play. Jermaine Marshall with a huge lift off the bench.
And you're seeing exactly why he is SoCon Player of the Week last week. His ability to score inside and out, using his brute strength and athleticism to make things happen.
A quick 6-0 Bulldog run, a quick 6-0 Jermaine Marshall run. Carter Witt will come back in as Williams takes the seat. So how about a little smaller lineup out there for the Paladins? You'll have Vanderwall and Slauson as the size. Again, Furman without Garrett Heen tonight, the 6'9 junior out of Charlotte, going through some concussion protocol after that hard hit he took on the road win at Wofford. Marshall now 6 points after he misses that free throw coming off the bench. A 12-point deficit down to 6. Vanderwall in the corner. Furman from downtown now 3 of 10.
Now you see a 2-3 matchup zone. Samford continuing to change defenses. And if you're Furman, just keep running your offense and making things happen. Move the basketball, second side offense. And then you don't have to worry because by and large, you have guys that can make plays for each other.
4 to shoot. Slauson has it stripped. Furman turns it over for the 3rd time. Quickly into the front court is Quez Glover. He'll slow things down. This Bulldog team moves the basketball so quick. Now down low to Dye. Dye working against Slauson. Fade away. Doesn't go, but a foul. And Logan Dye will go to the line, and that's going to be the 2nd on Jalen Slauson.
Jalen Slauson, you can't do that. You have to stay vertical in a game where you're very thin up front. You can't afford to get in foul trouble. Logan Dye, though, I mean, this is a strong guy that can continue to keep you off balance from the start of the game to the end because he is constantly engaging in contact from the beginning of the possession till the end.
That free throw off the mark. One more upcoming. Tyrese Huey back in. Slauson to take a seat. You knew the Samford offense was going to go. It's almost like Marshall off the bench with those 2 fouls. He was over there just geared up waiting to get in the basketball game as Dye knocks the 2nd one down. This Bulldog run, a 7-0 run, 12-point deficit down to 5.
And this is a critical part of the ball game. Samford staying in that 2-3 matchup. And you'll see it's almost as if they start in 2-3 and then off the first pass they go back to man. So now they're in a switching man-to-man defense. Logan Dye has done a nice job early in this ball game defensively.
5 to shoot. Witt, a contested jumper, knocks it down. Hand in his face.
Man, you can see his confidence growing from game to game since the beginning of the year. The Wake Forest transfer, wanted to get out, wanted a fresh start. Coming out of high school, he was one of the best passing guards in all of high school basketball. Lost his confidence at Wake Forest, comes to Furman, and now he's fitting in nicely with what Bob Ritchie likes to do offensively.
Dye looking to attack Huey all the way down. Left-handed layup finish. Logan Dye now 3 points. And the big finish by the senior out of Haleyville, Alabama. Back to a 5-point game as Samford trying to find a little consistency on the offensive end.
So this is a bit of a different 2-3 defense. That ball gets into the middle. They match up immediately. They're not collapsing to the basketball.
Lob trying to find Huey. Knocks it in. Athletic move. Tyrese Huey give the assist to Witt.
How about the pass? Carter Witt dribbling through traffic, getting into the middle and firing it up to your athletic teammate, Tyrese Huey. Tough finish off a one-handed catch.
Quick trigger 3 on the way. That's short. Quez Glover, his jumper on the rebound, no, but fouling a jump shooter is Tyrese Huey, and the Paladin fouls adding up. They now have 9.
That was not a good foul, Tyrese Huey. It looked like a lethargic, I'm a little bit tired foul. Sometimes you lose sight of what you want to be doing, but all for naught if you finish the defensive possession with a rebound. Quez Glover coming from the corner, and they always tell you, shot goes up. If you're in the corner, run through the free throw line. Because then if that ball bounces in that direction, you have an opportunity for an offensive board. Quez Glover showing you exactly why you can benefit from that.
Quez Glover, just 9 attempts on the year as he was out with that injury, now 9 of 10. Huey checks out, and you're going to have Slauson back in. So really interesting matchup. Slauson in there with 2. You had Armstrong get some valuable minutes with 2, and you'll see if the graduate student can avoid picking up that 3rd foul.
Both teams really deep. I mean, you're looking at a Samford team so far that has played 9 players. You're looking at a Furman team so far has played 8 players. And they're missing some key pieces.
5-point lead. Talking about missing key pieces, it's a fast-paced game. You could have what is fatigued to be a faster. Tom Ritchie saying, hey, why are you passing up 3s for tough 2s? This Furman team has gotten some looks, but chosen to keep playing. Now down low, Stanton McCray trying to finish again. Shot clock down to 15. Next whistle will be the under 4 media timeout. Furman currently up 5.
But you see 2 different ways of attacking a defense. Samford has multiple guys that can create for themselves. That's a tough miss. Quez Glover, every part of the rim and out, but Samford creating on their own individually. Furman stressing moving the basketball, and we've got a tight contact.
It will be Samford basketball, or Furman basketball rather, coming out of the timeout. Terrence, both teams shooting now around 45%. Long range, Furman 3 of 10, Samford 1 of 9, but it was really Jermaine Marshall off the bench that sparked this Samford offense.
So he found ways to get easier shots around the bucket. And sometimes, hey, if shots aren't falling from the perimeter, feed it in. If you have that option to a big fella that can get you at least a shot around the rim, and he is that guy that can do that. Not on the floor now, but he gave Samford a spark that could potentially get some other guys involved. Shot making's contagious, as we both know. One guy hits him, then several guys can get going as well.
No double-digit scores. Furman's being led by Slauson's 8, Peguesa's 8. Samford being led by Stanton McCray's 6, as well as Marshall's 6. There's a little trapping press. Furman able to beat it. Again, another wrinkle defense thrown at this Furman offense. Terrence, you're a fan of if you beat the press and you have some numbers, you got to make the defense pay.
Yeah, there's part of that, but on the other side, they're just bringing those 2 guys up. The back line is getting back underneath the bucket. So it's really hard to press. You want to set up a good offense, they're going to have to get rid of the ball.
Bothwell, another long 3. That one's off the mark. Good defense there by the Bulldogs. Late in shot clock situation. Bulldogs can cut it to a 1-possession game. Corner with it, Bubba Parham, open 3. That one's short. Battle for his own rebound, but Marcus Foster gets it. Rebound now 16-14. In favor of Furman.
And Furman is getting open shots, but here's the issue. You get open shots, you have to take those open shots. It's not unselfish. Big time finish, David Slauson, but it's not unselfish to take an open shot. If you don't take that open shot, oftentimes you put your teammates in a bad spot, but Jalen Slauson staying after it.
Got blocked, stayed with it. You talked about it. Slauson now has 10. He'll go to the line. Big 249. Can he be in there, contribute without picking up that 3rd foul?
I mean, that's the $1 million question right now.
Shows the trust.
Where do you really go? And he's going to have to be real cerebral on the defensive end. And sometimes the kind of player he is defensively, he's susceptible to getting a foul.
Slauson a perfect 2 of 2 from the line. Now 3 of 3. Furman lead back to 8. And now Crowell trying to get into it a bit. Tyler Eckstein on the Furman staff waves that towel, and Furman can get a kill, which would be 3 stops in a row. Trying to respond. Yes, big shot.
Man, Logan Dye has improved big time over the past 2 years since we've seen him. And who else gets a steal? They're off and running. Quez Glover making things happen, and that's a block. Ben Vanderwall didn't have good guarding position, but Logan Dye, number 22 for Samford, the big fella, doing a nice job sneaking up in the press, getting a steal, creating an extra possession for his team. Furman needs to attack this pressure initially, find a good shot, and take the first best shot. Don't make those extra passes if you have a good shot at this point, because what's happened, you're just delaying the defense and getting further in the clock. You have to take some of these shots.
A rare miss at the line for Glover. So it was the 3-pointer knocked down, and then the steal by Dye, a chance for a little run after Furman pushed the lead to 8. Well, was Dye kind of almost standing at the diamond F, baiting that pass like a safety, and came and was able to pick it off. Glover one more at the line to try to make it a 4-point game, and he does.
And then Samford just stays right there. They're not going to get back on defense and let you make a decisive action. They're going to make you be on the defensive mode on offense from the beginning of the play.
Bothwell looking for a tough finish against Dye. Good defense by the senior. Bulldogs again can make it a one-possession game. Glover looking to go one-on-one against Whip. That should be an offensive foul against Logan Dye. And it is. They're going to say an illegal screen as Dye's trying to say it was a flop, but he's going to be called for the offensive foul.
He might have a point, but Logan Dye, you have to stay planted. And you get that call for Furman. Why? Because you're aggressive on the ball. And then what happens is you try to get over that screen. They almost have to move in order to get any kind of piece of you. Good defensive possession.
Under 2 to go, 4-point game, a good one as we thought. Backdoor cut, Bothwell, tough block. Bulldogs all over the backboard.
It has been all Logan Dye over the past 2 or 3 minutes. And Jalen Slauson needs to be careful here. He's got 2 fouls. Don't get all the way out on a lightning quick guard like Quez Glover. Let him make something happen and make him shoot over the top.
Shot clock down to 8. Glover has it top of the key. Slauson hedges, now 4 to shoot. Glover trying to get, he's stripped, turns the basketball over. And now a foul in the backcourt. It'll be the 10th on the Bulldogs. 2 shots for Furman.
And you have to love the defensive pressure from end to end. And J.P. Pegues, Jalen Slauson got away with a foul. You reach in, you grab the arm. Very lucky that he didn't get called for his 3rd. Needs to be careful here on the defensive end. Bucky McMillan is animated over on the side. I don't know if we have a camera look or not, but there's a lot being thrown. And he does not like the way this game has been officiated thus far.
Both teams in the double bonus. You are going to see Jermaine Marshall check in for this offensive possession. Maybe he's thinking, hey, 2 offensive possessions, 1 defensive possession, get Marshall back in. So something to watch with 2 fouls. And 1 more will be coming at the line for Marcus Foster.
And I like this substitution. Get Jalen Slauson, who's playing on all energy right now. Get him out of the game, at least until the next offensive possession when you need him. You can't afford to get that 3rd foul if you're the big man from Furman.
Furman's led by as many as 12. Bulldogs have yet to lead, but the Paladins now hold at 6. And now a kickball.
You have to love the energy level for Furman defensively. You got your Samford credit too. I mean, they've come back, they fought, they've knocked down shots. Bucky McMillan, he loves the energy of his team, riding an 8-game winning streak. You see why so many offensive weapons for the Bulldogs.
Crowd getting into it. Students on the far side here, a minute to go in the first half. Huey going against Dye. Off deflected. They're trying to send it far side for a 3. Furman got a hand on it. Bulldogs turn it over for the 9th time.
Oh,
the Paladins convert.
Great pass. J.P. Pegues to the streaking Tyrese Huey. Gets rewarded for a good defensive possession.
Furman leads 16-second differential shot in game clock. Marshall with those 2 fouls, and Furman comes over, and I think you're going to get a bump against Marcus Foster. He doesn't like the call. Take another look down low.
Look at he's going to go spin baseline, a little bit of a chuck there. And here's the deal. Carter Witt, number 11, needs to communicate on the backside. He's going to come and trap. You have to tell Marcus Foster that you're coming, and that way he can put his hands up and know that help is coming from that direction. You don't communicate, he feels like he's on an island.
Marshall's perfect with the first one. 1 more upcoming, 73% from the line.
A lot of talking. A lot of talking going on out here on the floor.
Slow offensive start. The intensity's ratcheted up. About a 5-second differential shot in game clock. You're Furman. You try to hold for that last shot?
At this point, yes. I mean, there's not enough time to go 2 for 1. Run your offense, get a good possession. Try to end the half on a high note.
Furman does have the use it or lose it timeout. If they need it, you'll see some full court pressure here out of the Bulldogs. going to be Pegues to inbound it right back to him. You hear that Furman bench saying, attack the press, go, go, go. And now Furman will try to hold for the last.
And here's the thing, too. You don't necessarily have to hold for the last, right? Because at the same time, they're going to have 5, maybe 6 seconds with the ball if Furman does score, if the time goes off. So take your first best shot at this point in the game.
Furman does take the use it or lose it timeout. It's a good one here, partner. Both teams shooting above 40%. Paladin's up 6. So this last possession, what are you trying to look for? You say, hey, maybe your best first shot. What are you trying to find?
Well, I think the big thing is because Samford has switched defenses so much, you need to move with purpose and pass with purpose. That's the big thing. But the top scorers in the SoCon, you have 2 of them on the floor, Bothwell and Slauson. If Slauson checks back into the game, you got to get the ball into the hands of one of those 2 players, and either they need to score or they need to create for somebody else. But Slauson, the only double-digit scorer so far in this game, doesn't look like he's going to come back in the ball game.
Jake Stevens, also Chattanooga, announcing he's going to be out for an extended period of time. So you'll see how the Mocs can handle the absence of the prolific scorer in Jake Stevens. Of course, he transferred from VMI with head coach Dan Earl. After the timeout, Slauson's not going to be in there, so probably Bob Ritchie is saying, hey, not worse, maybe a risk of a 3rd foul. So Furman will have it, 20 seconds on the shot clock, 4-second differential shot in game clock. 6-point lead here, late stages, opening half.
Pay attention to what Samford does right here off the first pass. Do they switch into a man-to-man? How do they approach that?
Foster, step back 3 on the way. Doesn't get the roll, loose ball underneath. Bulldogs will have a chance. And now a whistle under the basket. It looks like maybe stopped for an injury, as that's Aker, the sophomore out of Australia.
It was his own guy, J. Staten McCray. Trips over his foot. But this one's tough because what happens now is you have to get a sub in, and it almost gives you kind of a 15-second timeout for Bucky McMillan to figure out what they want to do offensively.
Yeah, there you see shouting instructions. Bulldogs will have 7 seconds to try to stop a 2.5-minute field goal drought to close this first half. Sees the Paladins up 6.
And now you're going 3-quarter court pressure to not let them get an easy first 2 or 3 dribbles.
Quez Glover looking to go coast to coast. Good if it goes, and it goes. Wow. Quez Glover,
that's
his
what he
first
can do.
Field goal.
That's what he can do, Brian. Elite speed, elite elevation, big-time shot maker. Samford back in this ball game, down 4 after getting down big early.
We got a good one at the half here in Greenville. It's Quez Glover's shot at the buzzer up 34. Terrence, I was hoping you might be out there joining the first.
It's not like we have a beer here.
Hey, look, if you can negotiate that into a nice cold beverage. Here it is, Furman basketball. Pegues, Slauson, Foster, Bothwell, and how about Carter Witt going to get the start here in the second half?
He came in and played well, made some decisions against pressure, and he's wide open to start the second half.
That one off the mark. Rebound easily grabbed by Johnson. Furman had an open look.
You see right away Bubba Parham staying aggressive, and you see the conflicting offensive styles of play. Now, I'm not saying that Samford is necessarily selfish, but what I am saying is they use the dribble to get into the lane and start the chain of events, where Furman will set up some offenses to get the ball moving at a high level, and that's when they thrive. So you're seeing 2 very good offenses, 2 different styles. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat, as one might say.
One of the best games in the country tonight. Shake off the mid-major tag. This is high-level basketball here. Logan Dye thought about a 3. Shot clock down to 5. Poked away. He's going to have to go to work. Slauson has those 2 fouls. Nice move by Logan Dye.
And here's the thing. Jalen Slauson was expecting help on the baseline, but Furman off and running. Nice ball movement. Bothwell ends up with it. I'm a little shocked that he has been hesitant to pull the trigger around the rim.
Open 3 for Foster, and going to be off the mark, but he'll stay here. Foul underneath. That's on Marshall. That's going to be his 3rd. So it's the 3rd on Marshall down low. Furman's had 2 open 3s here about the first minute of the half and hasn't been able to knock them down.
And those are the kind of shots that you like. Shots going to high-quality shooters off the catch. And they've been open.
Furman now 3 of 14 from long range. Turnover on the inbound. Just the 4th Paladin turnover. Now a chance to tie it. Glover off the glass, and We're tied up at 38. Samford's erased a 12-point first-half deficit.
Mike Bothwell needs to find a way to be effective.
There, Furman able to move the basketball and out of bounds. Last touch by Samford. Tell you what, Furman's moving well. Samford's scrambled defense seeming to hesitate Furman on those open looks.
It's a nice drive. Ball's moving. Marcus Foster trying to get rid of it. Jermaine Marshall staying aggressive even with that those three fouls. Something to keep an eye on.
McGee's, his corner three is up, in and out. Can't get it to fall. Rebound die. Furman doing everything but knock down those three-pointers. Good looks, just can't get into fall here early second half. Bulldogs had a chance to take their first lead of the basketball game. Johnson now a little bit mismatch, working against Witt. He lays it off the glass, a 6-0 run.
And that's tough. Carter Witt, you've got to chest him up sooner. There's going to be a foul on Quez Glover in the full court. That's not what you want. That'll be his third personal.
So 3 on Glover, 3 on Marshall. How about Samford coming out of the locker room? Quick 6-0 run to take the first lead of the basketball game.
Well, it took them a while, but they're playing with confidence. They're playing aggressive. Quez Glover is going to take a break. A lot of emotional expenditure towards the officiating on the Samford side.
What's the balance there? You want them to know you're looking, but at the same time, don't over-exude. You split. Furman with the basketball, trailing by 2. Whip to the top of the key, Pegues. Now Slauson from long range. That's off the mark. Furman 0 of 4 from long range here in the second half. Just 3rd at 16 for the basketball game.
But that's okay. I mean, the ball moves. You want to find ways to get downhill and get easier shots, but that's what's happening whenever Samford's able to get into the paint off the dribble. Furman's starting to collapse. And now we have some extracurricular activity.
Timeout. Furman was calling, is going for the steal. Was Bubba Parham as the Bulldogs have come out of the locker room on the conference here tonight. Always a competitive basketball league. Maybe a little surprise up in Cullowhee. The Bulldogs marching into Catamounts and are up 8. Good one going on in Spartanburg. How about Chattanooga playing, or over Chattanooga? Chattanooga playing without Jake Stevens for an extended period of time.
And that is a huge loss for the Mocs. Jake Stevens was making a run at Lou Henson mid-major player of the year. I mean, his stats have been outlandish up to this point, but another one to keep an eye on. ETSU at Mercer. ETSU, awkward stat, 0-8 at home, 4-0 on the road in their last 12.
And Freedom Hall usually just such a tough place to play.
Yeah. I'm curious to see, Brian, if the referees start to call it a little bit tighter. There's a lot of jawing going on for both teams after seemingly every foul call.
9-0 run by Samford to start this second half. Now Slauson in the corner, thought about a 3. He'll attack. Ball gets partially blocked. No call, and now the Bulldogs quickly out to run. Ball flick. What a save by Alex Williams as he went over the baseline. And see active hands again. Williams saves a look. Furman bench wanting a foul there on that last drive by Slauson.
Good hustle. Williams almost able to create the turnover.
Mark it down. Marshall checks back in here at the 17:09 mark with those 3 fouls.
Seems like Bucky McMillan's been going offense-defense with Marshall since the 5-minute mark in the first half. I mean, every time they have a break in the action, especially on the offensive end, and Logan Dye stepped out of bounds.
There fights it off the glass against Slauson, and now all of a sudden you look up, Samford's got a 7-point lead. 11-0 run to start this second half.
After not leading at all in the first half, Samford has come out and just put this game in the mud a little bit as far as making it really physical. Every time Furman gets in the paint, they are getting bodied. Shot clock down to 7. Ball tipped and now thrown in the backcourt. And what that's going to do is just let the clock go all the way down to 3, and Furman's going to have to inbound it. But are they going to say, okay, clear the shot clock and reset it, as that was Samford possession, to then throw it into the backcourt? There's the explanation given by the officials. Rob Rourke, Ryan Christian, Chris Ford, your officiating crew here this evening.
You agree with that call?
Yeah, I do. If the defense has possession, tries to save it, he did have possession inbounds, threw it back. Shot clock does reset to 30. You have to find a way to get the ball in the lane if you're Furman. They have been very perimeter oriented, and they are at their best when that ball touches the paint, and that's a good foul call. Jermaine Marshall has been really physical. That's his fourth. Like I said, Brian, they've been going offense-defense for the majority of the game, and Marshall continues to jaw as he's coming off the floor.
Now immediately get Nathan Johnson back in. Marshall, with those 4 fouls, just limited minutes of action. Bulldogs still, though, holding Furman scoreless here for the first 4 minutes of this second half. 4-point deficit, 7-point lead. Williams looking to go one-on-one, tries to spin. There's 3 Bulldogs there to knock it away.
And on a night where you're only 3 of 16 from 3, Samford completely comfortable collapsing on the ball when it gets in the middle.
Bring into wall table, he'll check in the next dead ball. Logan Dye looking to go to work against Slauson. Double team comes. Flip far side, Stanton McCray off the glass, misses the layup.
Now you have to go get Samford while their defense is not set. Excellent pass, Carter Witt in transition, Mr. Williams knocks it down for 3.
Credit Carter Witt to find the open Alex Williams in the corner. Williams, his first bucket of the night, cuts the lead down to 4. Crowd trying to get back into it. Parham working against McGee's tough shot, gets the roll.
Wow. That's a tough 2 inside the lane. If you're going to give up something, that's what you want to do. J.P. Pegues, good aggressiveness, but it looks like we're going to have a media timeout. The temperature has been turned up in Timmons Arena. Furman trying to knock down some shots, but if you're moving it in transition, that's when you can get something good. Williams going to...
A little bit subdued. Bulldogs have come hot here in the second half.
That they have. I mean, they're really scoring at a high level so far in the second half. But Furman, they're going to have to start making shots. It's as simple as that. They are getting these 3-point opportunities. They just haven't been knocking them down. 1 of 5 here in the second half. 4 of those 5 shots have been clean looks. And for a Furman team that typically shoots the ball fairly well, I mean, you would think law of averages, that's going to change a little bit.
Furman basketball looking to get inbound. Furman at Alex Williams 3, then the offense here the first 5 minutes of the half. Still just a 6-point game. Bothwell back out to Slauson. See the Bulldogs just been mixing up their defense all evening long. Baker trying to defend Slauson, fouls, and he'll go to the line for 2. And how much does Furman try to attack down low with Jermaine Marshall and those 4 fouls out?
And I like that decision by Jalen Slauson. He gets in, forces the switch. And Core just struggling to maintain his verticality, going over the top. But Furman's struggling to create good looks, and at least from the interior. From the outside, they've gotten some open threes, just haven't been able to knock it down. Find ways to get easier looks, and one way to do that, get to the free throw line and get it in a rhythm.
Slauson knocks them both down. He now has game high 13 points, back to a 4-point game. Furman some full court pressure to slow down Quez Glover. Glover he's a little foul situation. He has 3 for the junior out of Knoxville. And now Slauson picks off the entry pass. Bulldogs turn it over with tip time, just the first of the second half. Pegues all the way and partially blocked. Hello.
My goodness. All created by the rim pressure by J.P. Pegues. Jalen Slauson, he is fully capable of that.
Campbell quickly going against Witt. Fade away, doesn't get the roll. Tipped out, Pegues has it. Up to Williams, up to Bothwell. Tie game, a chance for the lead, and the Paladins can go back in front.
Oh man, how the tables have turned. Attacking the rim in transition, defense into offense. But what a pass. Alex Williams maintaining his patience. The advance, the finish. The Bothwell. What a move, what a finish, the foul on Riley. And now Furman has a chance to retake the lead.
What a quick 6-0 run over the last 45 seconds. Logan Dye, Bubba Parham back into the basketball game. So McMillan maybe trying to steal a few minutes so they had a brief lead. And Bothwell will go to the line. Chance for his 9th point, put Furman out in front. Gets the roll.
But what has spurred on this momentum, right? You're pushing it in transition. You're making things happen on the defensive end, and you can get out and run and not play against a set defense.
Mismatch down low. You have Witt trying to work against Logan Dow. Probably a good foul there for Carter Witt. Just his first, team second, and notice the mismatch. It all started in the backcourt.
I'm not terribly upset at the foul, but if you're Carter Witt, you have to know you have help on the backside. Use your feet, get around front, and rely on your buddies behind you to eliminate that pass over the top.
Almost a 5-second call thrown into the backcourt. Glover catches the entry pass. See Slauson hedging on that screen, trying to make it hard for Glover to turn the corner there. Contested jumper off the mark.
Man, you have to give J.P. Pegues credit. When he's been on an island, he has done really well.
Now Bothwell looking to go one-on-one against Dye, and they'll set up the offense.
And that's a messed up possession. You have to pass it and then get that ball right back. If you're Mike Bothwell, Pegues needs to recognize the mismatch for his teammate, but nice drive, Jalen Slauson.
Did everything but finish. Now Bulldogs will want to run. Trying to stop this 7-0 run. Stanton McGray almost lost the basketball. Now you got a mismatch down low. Bothwell trying to defend. Alex Williams comes, steals, but steps on the baseline. So the Samford Bulldogs will keep the basketball. See the intensity again. We've seen it ratchet up slowly.
That's good defense. Williams on the backside realizing, hey, Bothwell's going to lead him that direction. It's my responsibility to get over. The big fella just had his foot on the baseline, but regardless, Bothwell recognizes where the help is coming, so he jumps on that top side. That's Williams' communication in the back. It's his awareness in the back to know, hey, I'm coming over to help my guy.
Say it was not possession, so the shot clock will remain at 19. Stanton McGray, he had some tough buckets in the first half, quiet here in the second. We've done a nice job keeping Quez Glover have some hard looks here tonight. Parham, just 5 points on 2 made field goals. Here, Dye, tough move into the lane, right-handed finish, big time move.
Man, what a move. I mean, Logan Dye, he's only about 6'7", according to the eye test. But man, what a pass and finish. You play with pace, guys are cutting behind that zone, you can find an opportunity.
17 made field goals for the Paladins. 10 assists as you take another look. Bothwell now in double figures. Now back the other way, the easy layup. Both teams trade points in the paint. Points in the paint, 32 for the Paladins, or Samford rather, 22 for the Paladins. It's a foul of backcourt. Furman may be in the bonus here at about the 10-minute mark. That's the 6th Stanford team foul. Still over 12 to go in the basketball game.
It's a bit shocking, and I understand the need and the want to pressure the basketball if you have small guards for Samford, but still, try to stay in front, don't foul. And now you're going to look at the substitution pattern for Furman. Look who's coming out of the game. You get Slauson out of the game. 12-14, the media timeout coming. Any foul called after the 12-minute mark. So you get your guy an extra 2 minutes of real-time rest because you're going to need him to close out this ball game.
Samford now looks like in a man-to-man. Bothwell sends it to Williams in the corner. Can he do it again? That was off the back iron. Big offensive rebound. Foster cutting Williams, who's fouled. And it'll be Alex Williams at the line. Glover doesn't believe it. If it's on Glover, that's his 4th.
That's a huge foul call. But how about my man Williams going up aggressive? He thought he was Jalen Slauson for a minute. He's got springs, but I'll tell you who else has springs. Jalen Slauson has springs. And whenever this ball is moving in transition, Bryant, look at J.P. Pegues. They're aggressive in transition. He doesn't make it. Jalen Slauson, he'll flush. Furman's battled back in.
After the timeout, you see Huey Witt in there for the Pals, as well as Alex Williams providing some support. Again, Garrett Heen unavailable tonight. And you saw Coach McMillan for the Bulldogs talking to the officials, said, hey, that's 4 on Quez Glover. The official kind of said, yep, it is. But tough call, yes, but at the same time, if you're Quez Glover, maybe you have to realize you got to be smart.
And sometimes maybe an Alex Williams layup is worth letting him have it in that position. Now, Bucky McMillan might beg to differ. He wants him to get in front and take a charge. However, you can't get your 4th foul. It's the most important part of your team.
So I guess it may be an unfair question. How long do you go without Glover and Marshall? It may just be seeing how the game goes.
Yeah, you got to see how the game goes. And at the maximum, you keep them out until 6 minutes. I mean, you need those guys to close the game. And with the fact that you're able to continue to switch defenses and maybe keep your guy out of harm's way, maybe you do that.
1 of 2 at the line for Alex Williams. Furman as a team, 13 of 16 from the line. And all tied up. Nice pass down low, and it'll be a foul going against the Paladins, and 2 coming up.
I'm with that foul. I'm with that foul. Why? You're not going to give up an easy 2. Now, were you late on help side? Yeah, you were. But make the big fella earn them at the stripe. Carter Witt almost got that ball.
Didn't see much of a complaint, but he got up there. Bulldogs 6 of 9 from the charity stripe here tonight. Logan Dye on the year, 73% as he makes the first.
He's been good today. 5 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 1 of 2 from 3. I mean, Logan Dye, he just does a lot of things that equate to winning basketball.
Little token full court pressures. Carter Witt has played 20 minutes tonight, and he's out there with J.P. Pegues, so you kind of have multiple ball handling options right there at the point guard position.
Okay, so notice Furman, you got to make a better pass to put your guy in position. Furman makes 1 pass, Samford goes man. Nice drive. So they start out in a 2-3 zone. They go man after the first pass, and I'm not sure what the holdup is for here. But J.P. Pegues, he's quick enough. He gets you on an island. Help doesn't come over.
Tough finish.
He can make a tough finish. That's right.
Pegues now has 10. He joins the list in double figures. Bulldogs now shooting 55% against these Paladins. Furman at 40%. Still a tie basketball game. Looking to drive baseline with it is Johnson. Tough jumper on the way, knocked down, hand in the face. Call it a 2.
Wow, and that's not something that he's done with remarkable consistency this year. Putting it on the floor and creating something else. At number 25, Johnson, over the last 5 games, only 1.5 points a game. 1.4 points a game, 10% from the field, 7 from 3. So to see him come alive a little bit offensively is obviously beneficial for Samford in a major way.
To be 29 on the shot clock, ball tipped out of bounds. Bulldogs making it hard on that Furman press break to get it in bounds. Now, Samford 17 fouls. Furman's in the bonus the rest of the way. Furman just 3 team fouls in the second half.
But look at what Samford does after the first pass. Once this pass happens and they get any kind of rhythm, they have been changing their defense.
Just when you think you've picked up on it, Bulldogs will potentially change it again. Here's Carter Witt with 4 on the shot clock. He'll take the baseline jumper, front rim, ball tipped around, taken down by Stanton McGray. Rebounds now 24-23. 1 board advantage for the Bulldogs as Bubba Parham takes it in the front court. Samford looking for a 2-possession lead. We approach the halfway part of this second half. Long 3-pointer off the mark. Well, Slauson up there to get a hand on it.
Now is when you have to go if you're Furman. Quick ball screen, get into your action.
Well, I think you saw Coach Ritchie saying, hey, push the basketball and go. Bothwell at the table. He'll check in next dead ball. Pegues to the corner. Foster thought about the open look. Doesn't take it. Again, late shot clock situation for this Furman offense. With 1-on-1 against Dye. 4 to shoot. Hesitates. Ball tip. Pegues, can he do it again? No. Back iron. Offensive board had it, but then lost by Foster. Back-to-back good defensive stops for the Samford team. Logan Dye left open, and he'll knock it down. Logan Dye now with 17. He's 6 of 7 from the field for the senior.
He's been tremendous, and wow, what a pass off of Slauson's face.
Loose underneath, battle for it, tipped out of bounds, and it will be Furman basketball. Quick 5-0 run for Samford.
Logan Dye, I mean, he's been unbelievably efficient, and they've needed somebody that can pull Slauson away from the bucket. And now he's 2 of 3 from 3. You have to respect that shot out there. So Slauson can't roam the lane looking for a way to cause havoc, block a shot, a steal away from the ball. Now you have to worry about Logan Dye knocking down shots from the perimeter as well.
Trying to get the perspiration off that spot under the basket here, and the players checking it out to make sure they're good to go as you take another look at that scrum. Last touch by Samford. Furman about a point in the last 2.5 minutes. Pegues, nice find, laid up and in, and one.
Goodness, what a pass. I mean, defense is still collapsing, and what do you do when you're not hitting shots? You send guys cutting to the basket when a guy drives. This was an excellent pass, left-handed even, for Marcus Foster, who finishes. I thought he was going to dunk it, Bryant, the way he ran into the rim, but you finish in traffic like that, going up off 2 feet. Strong finish, Mr. Foster.
Foster now with 6. That's last foul going against Campbell, his 3rd. And Foster can't complete the 3-point play. Under 9 to go, we got a good one. As expected, between 2 of the top teams in the Southern Conference. Bulldogs looking to stay perfect at 9-0. Parham handed his face in and out. Rebound taken down by Furman. Pegues quickly into the front court. Sling to the corner. Carter Whip. Pegues thought about a 3. Bulldog defense everywhere.
And it's good, but at the same time, if you're Furman, that ball's moving, it's popping, you're attacking the rim early in your offense. Good things are happening, and Jalen Slauson maintaining his aggressiveness, able to draw the foul. Early offense, ball moves, you don't have to call a play. You have several different guys on your team capable of creating. We showed the assist graphic earlier. 3 guys in the top 10 of the conference that can make things happen. It's because you got guys like Jalen Slauson on that possession that can make things happen.
Slauson now with 15. He'll be at the line to shoot 2 where he's been perfect. And you wonder when they're going to put Jermaine Marshall back in. The answer is at 8:18 to go. And Quez Glover. Saw an interesting quote the other night.
I said 7.5 minutes. I missed it by a little bit.
College basketball coach said, hey, there's Assay. You put both players you had with 4 fouls in at the same time. What were you thinking? He said, well, my staff told me. I think
Tony Bennett
said only one of them can get their 4th foul at one time. Thought that was an interesting quote by Tony Bennett.
It's an interesting one. And what I am going to say about that quote is I don't get it entirely. And I'm just going to admit that Tony Bennett's a smarter man than me.
We'll say y'all can get in the room and debate it.
No, I'm not.
I got money on Tony.
Hey, yeah, well, I was about to say, there's not much of a debate going on. There'd be a whole lot of listening by me. This is the same play that Marshall scored on the dunk in the first half. They're going to wave the basket off.
I'll say I was on the floor. Looks like Rod Wart raised off the basket. 5th Furman team foul.
I actually thought that was on the way up. But nonetheless, I mean, that was the same play in the first half. You'll see a quick slip to the basket, and it's going to be on the hold, on the roll, before he actually caught it. So good call by the official.
Bulldogs up 1. Quick trigger 3 on the inbounds. Good. Jaden Campbell knocked it down. His first 3-pointer of the basketball game.
Jaden Campbell's a nice player. I mean, Florida Southwestern State junior college transfer, good length, good quickness, quality shooter from the perimeter.
Just
shooting
his
38% from 3 on the season, so that's not a fluke.
Shot clock again under 10 as Whit takes it into the lane. Nice cut by Bothwell, who lays it in, and that's how you dice up the zone.
And you saw whenever Samford was able to make their run, there was a lot of passing out on the perimeter for Furman. Now Furman's attacking that zone, and instead of standing on the perimeter, they're sending a cutter to the basket. And what that does is it keeps pressure on the rim when everybody collapses.
Here's Marshall. He has those 4 fouls. Tough pass right into the hands of Whit. Furman a chance to tie. Witt looking to go coast to coast. He's fouled, no call.
Wow.
Oh, he's hacked. Campbell the other way, off the glass, no. Back and forth we go. Foster into the front court. He'll slow things down.
Oh, wow.
Turn, pops. That one's maybe a little bit rushed there by Foster. Both teams attacking. Here's Quez Glover in the lane. His fadeaway, he'll kick out. Mismatch down here. Double team comes. Nice job by Witt, and then Samford throws it away.
That is great defense by Furman in a scramble situation, and it's getting ugly a little bit. Fatigue setting in. Guys are playing hard, but the defensive assignments are staying consistent for both squads. Not the scoring we expected, but both teams playing hard. We have an absolute battle at Timmons Arena. Samford, 61-59, but you'll see the extra cut, the finish. That's how Furman.
Oakles will be back with you. 6:40 to go. We got a good one, but a lot to navigate, especially on the fouls.
Yeah, especially on Samford's side of things. The par on Marshall and Glover. Glover and Marshall with 4 fouls is huge. With 6:40 left to play, both of those guys picked up those 4 fouls prior to the 10-minute mark in the second half. They're going to have to find ways to navigate 2 of their highest scores. Quez Glover, first-team All-SoCon guy. How's he going to play knowing he has 4 fouls? He's got to stay in the ballgame.
Furman basketball after the Bulldog turnover, their 13th of the basketball game. Looks like you're going to have Glover and Marshall temporarily out of the basketball game here at the 6:40 mark. Might be a little bit of a jockeying this last little bit by McMillan, how to keep him in for the last 6:40.
Well, that's exactly right. You're even looking at potentially going a little offense-defense if things pan out that way, but
Slauson to Pegues easily beats this full court pressure, and again, kind of a meshed hybrid zone defense here for Samford. Into the lane, Slauson is really forcing it up and getting fouled.
That's exactly what's happening. It's gotten to a point to where Furman has just gotten tired moving that ball around the perimeter and accepting the body contact of Samford, and as a result, they're getting fouls.
Slauson will go to the line where he's a perfect 7 of 7. Yes, 17 points, so now 8 of 8.
And we just showed the foul graphic. That's 4 fouls on Bubba Parham. So now, Samford, 3 players on the floor, 4 fouls. And I guess to go along the lines of Tony Bennett, they can't all foul at once.
It's true.
I mean, it is certainly true. I mean, I got to find.
No,
here's the thing. Tony Bennett says it, I'm just going to accept it. I don't need to find the logic behind it. It's like my dad used to say. It's like, just trust what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to question everything. And I'm not going to question Tony Bennett.
If I could send my 4-year-old to you to tell you that, I'd appreciate that. Slauson makes both, and we're tied at 61 apiece here with 6:20 to go. Crowd starting to come back alive here in Timmons. Dye thought about the 3, cuts through the lane, open one-handed jam. Logan Dye, 19. And now on the other end, Bothwell. Samford doesn't get back.
We're running and gunning. Tie game at Timmons. Bothwell.
Now Glover and 1. Dunk, layup.
I'm just going to be quiet. My goodness. Flying up and down the floor. Quez Glover able to capitalize, but how about Logan Dye? Now, that's a result of him going 2 of 3 from 3. So what happens? Slauson knows that. Doesn't want him to get another one off. Overcorrects, if you will. And Dye gets the flush.
Glover trying to get in double digits, and he does. Gets the roll. Now Stanton McCray will come in. Marshall will take a seat. Looks like Quez Glover as well. So a couple of those 4 foul Bulldogs take a seat. How is that back and forth? Just teams not getting back, a little fatigue?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, Bothwell was the last guy who finished the layup. And you have to have communication on the other side, at least to cut off the basketball and wall it off.
Williams looking to drive baseline. He's working against Dye, kicks it over to Whip. He'll take a 3. Air ball short. Bothwell looks to save and can't. And the Bulldogs will get it back up 3. Quez Glover quickly back in the game. And you talked about it. It is a little offense-defense here with 5.5 to go.
And it's going that way for Furman right now, too. You sub in Marcus Foster to get a defensive possession. Try to get a defensive stand, get the ball back if you're Furman.
Samford shooting 57% from the field. Furman just 39%, yet just a 3-point game as that one's off the hands of Glover out of bounds. 14th turnover. Good idea, just a little bit out in front of Quez.
It looks like we're going to go offense-defense for the duration here for Bucky McMillan. And to be honest with you, even when I wasn't in foul trouble, Bryant, they tried to go offense-defense with me for pretty much the whole game. And while I didn't play a whole lot of defense, it also throws you out of rhythm a little bit. I mean, it really does. I mean, over the past, the last 8 minutes of this ball game, you're going offense-defense. Quez Glover's able to maintain his rhythm while doing that the entirety of this game. I mean, that's impressive. Samford now back to this zone that has forced Furman to really work around the perimeter, need to find ways to get penetration.
Furman just 4 of 21 from long range in this game. Step back three on the way, in and out, ball tipped around, grabbed by Logan Dye. Dye, 19.6 rebounds. Trying to submit first place in the Southern Conference. Stanton McCray working against Williams. Spins, hesitates, blocked out of bounds by Williams. Will stay with Samford.
That's a nice job. Williams staying in front, chesting up the offensive player. Williams, such a strong body guy. Keeps his chest in front, long arms, maintains his composure. He did get some hand, but he got the ball first. So that's the most important part. It'll be Samford ball on the baseline.
Glover back in, Marshall back in. See Associate Head Coach Jeremy Groh just calling out the play. And tell you what, Glover's going to get fouled. Are they going to get J.P. Pegues? If so, that'll be his third. And no shots, just a 16 foul.
I don't love that call. I mean, I felt like Quez, they're trying to open up the backside a little bit. Looked to me like he slipped, and that's exactly what happened. Now, did Pegues have his hand on him? Maybe a little bit, but looked more like a slip to me than anything.
Into the lane, off the glass and in. Furman lets Jaden Campbell in for the layup. 5-point Bulldog lead here. We go near 4.5. Trying to find Foster in the corner, tipped out of bounds. Will stay with the Paladins. This active hand. And now again, you're going to get Tremaine Marshall out of the game and Quez Glover out as well. Have you seen an offensive, defensive full media timeout? Furman 2 timeouts, Bulldogs 2 timeouts. The arrow is in favor of Samford. Furman in the double bonus. Next foul, we'll have Samford in the 1-and-1.
Been a physical ball game. And a lot of bumping the cuts, a lot of shoving. But here's the deal. I mean, this could very well be a preview of the tournament championship in Asheville this year. I mean, that's the kind of quality these two teams have, both on the roster and on the sidelines with the coaches. I mean, two high-level staffs really going neck and neck right now. Samford mixing some things up defensively, and then now Furman's starting to figure those things out some. It's going to come down to free throws at the end of the game, given how many fouls are being called, and who can create easier shots inside of 2 minutes.
Furman half-court man-to-man. That's been the case all day. Glover in the lane. Tough jumper. Came back down. That's going to be a travel. Glover couldn't get rid of the basketball.
J.P. Pegues, he's been on an island consistently today, and he's been able to stay in front. Way to hold his feet, maintain verticality.
I think he was trying to get it to Campbell in the corner, who was making a basket cut. So it goes without saying, still plenty of time, obviously. Still 4 minutes to go. Paladins trailing by 3. Furman's led by as many as 12. Samford has led by as many as 7. A little 2-3 matching zone as Slauson will take it. Thought about a 3. Now Bothwell, 8 to shoot. Pegues with 5. Over to Foster, contested 3 on the way, in and out. Rebound taken down by the Bulldogs. Again, late shot clock situation. Furman now just 4 of 22 from long range. Logan Dye with the basketball. He's been dynamite with 12. Can he do it again? Working against Slauson. 10 to shoot, over to Bubba Parham. Now with 5, Dye has it. 3 on the way, off the side of the rim. Rebound tipped around. Stanton McCray has it. Back up with it. 5-point Samford lead.
Oh, that's a brutal offensive rebound, making it a 2-possession ball game. Finish possessions, get out and run if you're Furman.
6th offensive rebound, 8 second chance points for Samford. Furman has 15 second chance. Pegues out to Slauson, over to Williams. Thought about a 3, takes the 3 off the mark. Long rebound, loose, picked up by Pegues. So both teams looking for second chance points, and Pegues hits a big one. J.P. Pegues, 13 points is a 2-point game.
Little step back, left-hand pickup. He's comfortable with that shot. That was over a high hand by Logan Dye. 2-point game. Little over 2 minutes to go.
Crowd on their feet. 2 big offensive rebounds on each side the last 2 possessions. Clock counting at 2:05. Campbell into the lane. Stripped into the hands of Parham. Step back shot on the way.
Oh,
yes.
My gosh.
Bubba Parham now has 8 and is back to a 5-point game under 2.
And he's certainly capable of that. Georgia Tech transfer, known for his ability to explode on the offensive end. But Alex Williams tries to get it back, and Bob Ritchie wants to talk it over.
Teams trading big buckets. Samford's hit 5 of their last 7 from the field. Furman keeps responding. Now with 1:47 to go, the Bulldogs will have it up 3. How about each of these teams, Theo? Big shot after big shot.
That's absolutely right, but I think the thing that stands out more than anything, Samford's turning the ball over, and they've turned it over 15 times. Furman not necessarily converting off of it as much as they need to. Only 10 points off turnovers to Samford's 6. And Samford starting to get in a rhythm offensively again. Crucial time for Furman to get a stop. Keep it within 1 possession. Find a way to score, and it doesn't get any easier for these teams either.
Samford embarking on a 3-game road stretch. They'll head on to the Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium later this week, and then Cullowhee. That's where you look. It's still about halfway through the point in the Southern Conference, but if Samford can get to 9-0, Furman would fall to 6-3 if the Paladins can't overcome this small deficit. Then you have the Spartans sitting there with 1 loss. You start still early, but you start looking at where things may fall up in Asheville. And tell you what a 3 to 4 days that's going to be, partner, up in Asheville.
I had the pleasure of calling the first 2 days of the SoCon tournament, and just such a fun venue and event for people who make the trek up to Asheville. A perfect venue, the perfect size, and high-quality basketball. And it was electric last season. But Furman, this is a tough one. UNCG's a tough one as well. I mean, but a golden opportunity against those top 2 teams to make up some ground in the Southern Conference.
Bubba Parham has it. He just hit the big 3. 95 seconds to go. Bulldogs with it. Trying to get it down low to Logan Dye. Ball sent to the corner. There's Marshall. He was big late first half. Kick to the corner. Thought about a 3. Was Quez Glover. Down low. Blocked by Slauson. Loose on the hardwood. Picked up by Bothwell. And he's going to take a timeout. It will be Furman's last timeout. But likely Terrence the right call there.
I think it absolutely was. I thought Samford's players got there a little late. There's still more jawing coming from the Samford area, but nice block. Man, coming over a help side. He was a little late, but when you're Jalen Slauson, it doesn't matter sometimes. Look, you get the ball, you call timeout before they're able to tie it up. But man, what an effort from Jalen Slauson. And then the effort from your other senior, Mike Bothwell, to get the timeout call. We got a competitive atmosphere. Football players in the front. The student section is going all the way up to the last row. It's been an exciting game so far. That was Furman's last timeout. That's something to keep an eye on, Brian. No more timeouts. Now you have to figure out ways to play and hopefully force turnovers on the defensive end to where it opens up your offense a little bit.
Possession, arrow to the Bulldogs. It will be Furman basketball. You mentioned Furman out of timeout. Samford with 2. Furman in the double bonus. Bulldogs in the 1-and-1. Partner, when you and I walked in here tonight, you texted me about 2 days ago and said, hey, we got a good one this week, and boy, has it lived up to that.
And both teams are starting to score more. I mean, first half it started off slow, but ever since then, the training wheels have come off, and these teams are flying up and down the floor and scoring with some efficiency, especially here in the second half. In Samford, you see why they're 8-0 in conference play on the season, because they're so fast at the guard spots. And whenever Logan Dye is hitting shots, like Logan Dye is capable of hitting shots, it's a different element to that offense.
Furman, 5 of 25 from long range. Yeah, they're 6th. Would tie the basketball game up. Bothwell, Slauson, Williams, Pegues, and Foster, the 5 on the court for the Palace. Yeah, Alex Williams, yeah. Then you saw Jermaine Marshall kind of point back, said, hey, we got to remember him behind us. Williams just standing in that far corner. Little token full court pressure as we approach a minute remaining. Bothwell to Pegues at the free throw line. Over to Williams. He's open. Can he tie the game? Yes.
Oh, my.
73 each.
Furman able to get it in the middle. Get it to one of your decision makers. Top 5 assist man in the Southern Conference. Finds Alex Williams, who has been shooting it really well as of late. Tie game, 45 seconds to go, Bryant. Competitive contest.
Dye. Dribble handoff. Stanton McCray, 3. Yes!
Oh!
Hand in his face. Stanton McCray hits his second 3 of the night. Bulldogs back up 3.
Another big shot.
Furman out of timeouts.
And now Samford going to a man-to-man, switching defenses. J.P. Pegues, they're going to let him rock.
Pegues, top of the key. Wants to get it. Goes to the corner. Slauson thought about a 3. Now step back. Tough look underway.
Oh!
Slauson with a hand in his face.
My goodness!
Shot clock turned off. Bulldogs has a chance to win.
12 seconds to go.
McMillan.
Isolation scoring up at the top.
To play it out.
They're going to put him on an island.
Parr.
Can he make it happen?
101. 1 second. Throws it up for the win. Overtime in Greenville.
We get 3 basketball, Brian. And I love it. Big shot after big shot to close out the final 2 minutes. You get a 3, I get a 3.
Slauson.
My. I was mad that he didn't take the first one. He was open. He made the more difficult one. What a play.
Look,
this is why they are at the top of the Southern Conference.
I don't know why I'm standing.
I don't know. I needed to stretch my legs after that one. There's a lot going on.
76-76 at the end of regulation. Take another look at the last play. Oh, this was Stanton McCray's, as you see Bubba Parham, the Dye to McCray. So this put the Bulldogs up 76-73.
Yeah, it's St. McCray coming off, setting his feet, good offensive possession. I thought Jalen Slauson had this one, but he took the harder one over the top inside of 12 seconds. My goodness.
Hey, what a job by Jeff Schetzel, his entire crew. Great angles, great shots, and who has the momentum? Back and forth.
I think you're at home. The last thing, or excuse me, when you're on the road, the last thing you want to do if you're Samford is play extra minutes. That is a tough thing to overcome. I would venture to say that the momentum's with Furman, but I've been wrong several times in that regard. It has been a high-level contest for both teams. I will say this, though. We've done several Furman games together. There's no shortage of drama.
Tell you what, the Paladins went into overtime last time they were at home on January 14th, the UNC Greensboro. That was a game Furman had a chance to win. UNCG had the last stop, and then the the Spartans dominated overtime. Tell you what, this crowd didn't go anywhere, and they're glad they didn't. Great crowd, great environment. Wednesday nights in the Southern Conference. So, T.O., Hope huddles real quick. Hey, just buckle down 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. Keep doing what you're doing. In foul trouble going into this extra period is going to be massive. Some of the best players for Samford still have 4 fouls. Nobody's fouled out. That's huge. But you'd hate to lose Quez Glover or Jermaine Marshall at the beginning of overtime and have to battle the duration without him. That being said, They have so many different guys that can create. If you're Furman, continue to attack that pressure. If they're going zone, react quickly. Sharp passes, cutting off the ball. Get the ball in the middle of the floor against the zone, and then start to spray out. Shots are finally starting to fall for the Paladins.
So Furman will get one timeout in the overtime period. Samford will get one added. So they will have now 3. Do you like Coach McMillan playing it out there?
I do, because you have so many guys. What you're going to do is you're going to set up an isolation situation anyway. I think that's the big portion of this. Spread it out. Let your playmakers make plays. But it was just an excellent defensive stand by J.P. Pegues, who's really guarded well for the entirety of this ballgame.
The opening tap a long time ago, a little over 2 hours, was won by Samford. So Logan Dye and Jalen Slauson set the jockey for position for this tap in overtime. And the officials will say, hey, let's calm down and get everybody spread out and happy. It's amazing how no one cares really about the positioning in the opening tip, but when you get into the overtime tip, that millimeter matters. That tap is controlled by Mike Bothwell. Furman opening possession of overtime, tied at 76.
What more could you ask for, Bryant? Two of the best teams in the Southern Conference and one of the premier mid-major conferences in college basketball.
Bothwell in the middle. One more to the corner. Slauson thought about it, wants to drive baseline bump. Then it'll be 2 at the line for Jalen Slauson as he goes flying into the front row. Seems like Furman's uncovered something at the free throw line.
Waiting to see who this foul call is on. It's going to be on Logan Dye.
His third.
His third personal. Good aggressiveness. Jalen Slauson, I mean, anytime a player goes back into the stanchion, Brian, I get nervous.
Slauson, perfect from the charity stripe, gives Furman the lead back, 77-76. One more upcoming. For the 5th year out of Summerville, South Carolina.
He has really improved. And I said that after he shot it, so you can't blame me.
Offensive rebound. The 12th of the night for the Paladins. 18 second chance points. Maybe not bigger than that J.P. Pegues 3 that cut it from 5 to 2. Here's Williams. Attacking Dye as it poked away. Out to Bothwell. 3 on the shot clock. 3 on the way. Off the mark. Offensive rebound Williams, and Furman to reset. 2 offensive rebounds. Furman's had the ball for the first minute of overtime.
Oh, wow, what a move.
Pegues hesitates to the corner. Open Alex Williams off the mark, but a foul. And that's going to be the 4th, I believe, on Marshall. Marshall's going to be out of the basketball game. They may go to the monitor here, T.O.
And I want to take a look at this. Maybe we can get a replay because the foul's on Jermaine Marshall. That's his 5th, and he is still talking.
And Coach Bob Ritchie is having a conversation as well with Rob Rourke as you take another look there, Terrence. What do you see?
Well, I think we're going to get another look at it. Jalen Slauson obviously doesn't like it, just crashing the offensive glass.
So Furman's had the ball 57 seconds to start overtime, has a point to show for it. So Marshall is out.
And they've had 2 offensive rebounds, or excuse me, 3 offensive rebounds. We haven't switched sides of the court. It'd be huge if Furman come away with some more points. As Slauson, who's improved at the free throw line this season, close to 80% at 77. Is a guy that worked on his shooting in the offseason. As you see, Jermaine Marshall not thrilled that he's on the bench.
Minutes.
Another offensive board.
Oh, they're going to get a foul going against Marcus Foster, and that's going to be a 1-and-1 on the other end. So after all that, Slauson goes 2 of 4 from the line, and now we can walk the other way, and the Bulldogs have a chance to tie things up.
That's unfortunate. You get 3 offensive rebounds, come away with 2 points.
They're going to call that on Marcus Foster, his 3rd. And now a 1-and-1 on the other end. Bubba Parham, very good at the free throw line, will go to try to tie things up. Foster almost had another O-board here as you take another look.
And I don't love that call. I thought Foster had possession of the ball.
Parham, 8 points, first time to the line tonight. Perfect. One more upcoming, 82.5% on the season for the charity stripe. Partner, what an interesting 59 seconds of OT. Samford didn't have an offensive
They still haven't had a full offensive possession. I mean,
tie it up. So we're back where we started a minute in. Here's that full court pressure. Remember, Quez Glover still out there with those 4 fouls, as well as Bubba Parr. That's the backcourt for the Bulldogs. Bothwell, free throw line, pump fake, working against Dye, out to Pegues. Passes up a couple threes, step back 3, foul. That's going to be the 5th on Bubba Parham and 3 at the line for J.P. Pegues. I tell you what, crowd is welcoming Bubba Parham to the bench.
And you have to allow him to land. Now the question is he going to get 3? Yeah, he's going to get 3. And that's a good call. You have to let him land. If he's going to jump and land in the same spot, can't take away his airspace. Good foul call by the officiating crew.
Bulldogs are 11 of 14 from the line tonight. Furman 19 of 25. And you'll have J.P. Pegues going there where he's 3 of 4. On the season, Pegues for the Paladins, 72%.
And over the last 5 games, right at 89%. So you want to talk about somebody who's playing better as the season goes along. I mean, Pegues over the last 5 games, 12.8 points a game, up from 9.9. 4.6 boards, up from 3.9. Assists are right around the same, but he's a guy that's continued to perform well and be that quality 3rd option.
Furman is 2 of 4 from the line in overtime. Pegues makes the first. Second shot for Pegues rims out, so Paladins trying to push this lead back to 2. Pegues has 1 more upcoming, tries to get to 15 on the night. All the points in overtime for the Paladins coming from the free throw stripe as Pegues tries to put Furman up 2, and he does. 80-78, Bulldogs with the basketball. First possession for Samford in this OT. Crowd on their feet, what a game. Quez Glover attacks, runs into J.P. Pegues, and it's going to be a blocking foul. We'll send Quez Glover to the line. I do not believe he was shooting, so it'll be a 1-and-1 for the junior out of Knoxville.
Legal guarding position is what J.P. Pegues is trying to get, and he had him on his hip. Now, did he initiate the contact and lower his shoulder? That's up for debate, but regardless, you have to get your chest in front.
It's the 4th on J.P. Pegues, so the first Paladin with 4 fouls. Should be a 1-and-1. J.P. Pegues picks up that foul. Quez Glover 4 or 5 from the line tonight. They're going to say it was 2 shots, so no 1-and-1. They're going to say Glover was going up with the basketball. So 2 shots, even though the 18th foul says Glover was in the act of shooting, so a chance to tie things up. You agree with that? It's close.
I don't know, but I like the hustle on the baseline by that young man right there.
Leave no spot out there.
Not a drop out there.
So Glover at the line, shooting 2. His first is good. How about every point from the line?
Yeah, I mean, what did we say right before regulation? This game's going to come down to who can create easier shots and free throws. And here in the overtime period, it has certainly come down to that so far.
1 of 2 at the line. Furman with the ball up 1. Possession arrow in favor of Samford.
How can you create an easy look if you're Coach Bob Ritchie? Got to get that ball in the middle and then fan out from there.
Slauson has it, elbow extended. 2-3 zone for Samford as Pegues has it. 10 to shoot. Again, shot clock under 10. Pegues kicks it to Bothwell in the corner. He'll take a contested 3 off the mark. Ball tipped around. Can they save it? Yes. Another offensive rebound in overtime. Furman without a field goal in overtime. Up 1, and a foul will be Bothwell at the line shooting 2. How about the offensive boards?
I mean, here in overtime, it has been absolutely terrific. 4 offensive boards for Furman, just staying on the glass. This time it was Marcus Foster with that extra effort. One after another, the crowd certainly appreciates it. Then you have Mike Bothwell on the other side, able to draw the foul.
Bothwell 2 of 3 from the line tonight, now 3 of 4. Chance to push the Furman lead out to 3 here, still 2:56 to go. Partner, I feel like we've been crunch time for about an hour and a half.
I mean, my blood pressure is pretty high, truth be told. And I'm not sure if it's my cholesterol or what. but I think it has more to do with this game.
3-point Furman lead. Now Bulldogs' turn to try to answer. Can Furman cement a big stop on the defensive end? Wes Glover now a mismatch. He wants to take Slauson off the dribble into the lane. Cut off now by Pegues. Loses it, still 13 to shoot. Glover dribbling around.
How about Pegues staying in front?
High off the glass. Could have been offensive goaltending. They're going to say it wasn't touched, but Wes Glover made it happen.
My goodness.
1-point game.
Must have taken 15 dribbles in that possession, but that's the kind of player Wes Glover is. Be able to create something out of nothing, and there wasn't a whole lot going.
Furman again, everything coming from the free throw line in overtime. Bothwell picks up his dribble out to Pegues. Thought about a three. Foster will take a three, and front of the rim offensive board again. Out to Pegues, his turn to launch. That's short. And now the Bulldogs a chance to take the lead. Furman trying to hit a field goal in overtime.
This has been high level. Now, if Samford can close out possessions, we're looking at a different ball game. But Furman, those extra effort plays have been awesome. And you know who else has been awesome? Wes Glover.
Now 15 points for Glover. Bulldogs up 1 in overtime. 95 seconds to go. Again, Furman still trying to hit their first overtime field goal. All 6 points coming from the line. Bothwell drives baseline, runs into die. Sends it back out to Pegues. One more to Slauson. Now corner Foster. Can one go? No. Offensive air ball rebound. Alex Williams. And Furman back up 1.
They have not been able to take care of the defensive glass, but Furman 6 offensive boards in this overtime. It's what's given them the lead.
Glover trying to take it over. He's single-handedly trying to get it down low. To the corner, 3 and a foul.
What a bad foul.
Marcus Foster runs into the shooter, and it'll be 3 at the line for Samford. Definitely a foul.
Yeah,
no
you have to be
space
smarter.
land.
You have to be smarter than that, especially in crunch time. Ball moves. I mean, that's a foul. What are we thinking here? You're inside of a minute. You have the lead. A strong contest. That's all.
Jaden Campbell been to the line just 6 times all year, but he's hit all 6 of them. Can give the Bulldogs a 2-point lead, but misses the first. It's amazing what a little game pressure will do here with 59 seconds to go.
It's his first miss in the last 6 games.
Perfect on the second one, tied at 84. One more upcoming. Again, Furman 1 timeout remaining. Samford with 3. Both teams now on the double bonus. And Samford has the possession arrow. Looks like Bucky McMillan may take a timeout if Jaden Campbell can give his Bulldogs the lead. It's up and out.
Wow. This game deserves another OT.
I have nowhere to be, partner.
That's right.
Right here with you. About a 30-second differential shot in game clock. If Furman doesn't score here, Samford maybe can hold for that last shot. Pegues over to Marcus Foster. Shot clock at 10. Furman again looking for that first field goal other than Alex Williams on the air ball miss. Pegues sends it to the corner. Foster 3 on the way. Yes! Powers up 3. 29 seconds to go. Furman trying to take a timeout, and they get it. Marcus Foster.
Big time play. J.P. Pegues.
Listen to this crowd.
Timmons Arena is an electric factory. But what a play. Little fake handoff. J.P. Pegues getting inside of 8 feet, pitching out.
Looking at the monitor, Rob Rourt, Ryan Christensen, Chris Ford coming over to take a look. And I think just seeing how much is on the clock to confirm it was right. Right now it sits at 29-9, Terrence, just trying to make sure the clock's right.
Yeah, that's all they're looking at, trying to make sure the clock's. So they're going to move it from 29-9 to 30.1. And while that doesn't seem like a ton right now, the way this game has been played, 0.2 seconds, that could be what it comes down to. What a competitive ball game. And what a great play by J.P. Pegues to fake the handoff. A little confusion on the switch for Samford, and they're having to overcorrect. What happens? That corner's wide open. Marcus Foster hits a big one.
J.P. Pegues trying to get some cramps worked out. Head athletic trainer Justin Gaines. What a job he does for this Furman basketball team. Williams, Bothwell, Foster, Slauson, and Pegues is going to be out there for the Paladins. So if you're Samford, do you have to go for the 3 here, Terrence? What do you do? This crowd is a frenzy.
Here's my thing. An announcer always says you don't have to go for a 3. Why wouldn't you go for a 3? Tie this game up. If that's your best shot at that moment, let that sucker fly.
Slauson's 6th double-double of the year, 24 points, now 10 rebounds for the 5th year. Furman's going to pick up full court. Furman now out of timeouts. Samford still with 3.
To answer your question, I'm shooting a 3.
Well, I know you.
I'm shooting a 3.
3-point Furman lead. Bulldogs to inbound full court pressure. Dye gets it into the hands of Quez Glover. No surprise, he's played a marathon game with 4 fouls and done a fantastic job with it. Glover looking to get to the rim. 1-on-1, layup off the mark. Alex Williams with the board. He's fouled. And Williams to go to the line for 2. And depending who's that on, if that's on Glover's out of the basketball game, they might have gotten Stanton McCray.
I think it was Stanton McCray, but how about the curveball defensively, putting Bothwell on the ball, and man, an excellent contest. Alex Williams, this is a big free throw.
1 of 2 from the line tonight. Alex Williams on the season, just a 57% free throw shooter.
Need
2
one.
big ones here as the first one is up and in.
Now you got, if you're Furman, you cannot foul. Make them use some clock to get to the cup. Do not foul to where they can score while stopping the clock. Now up 5 points.
Furman picks up full court. Glover's got to go. Quickly into the front court. Dye has it. Thought about a 3. Contested 3-pointer off the front of the rim. No. Foul. Slauson to the line with 10 to go. Coach Bob Ritchie turns to associate head coach Jeremy Gray. Not over yet one, but boy, what a win this could be for Furman.
Man. The effort level in overtime, the offensive rebounds for Furman in overtime is what ultimately is solidifying this basketball game.
Jalen Slauson, 24 points. We mentioned with those 11 rebounds, the 6th career double-double. First free throw was good. And Furman up 6.
When you're playing at home and you're playing the #1 team in your league, and you're trying to get that regular season title, you need your stars to be stars. And Jalen Slauson has been exactly that.
Makes them both. Academic now with 10 seconds to go. Glover to the corner. Wild 3-pointer on the way. No. Furman in overtime. Knocks off Samford. He's 8-0. Trying to keep the Furman students off the court as Mike Bothwell explodes. What a basketball game.
Man, a great basketball game. Hard fought, physical, guys in each other's faces. A lot of fun for 2 teams that this very well could be a conference championship preview.
Credit to this Samford basketball team. They came on here with a target on their back. They took Furman's best shot for about 39 minutes and 50 seconds. Almost had it. Classy move there by Slauson and McMillan as they shake hands. And Bob Ritchie's going to go around and thank this crowd, Terrence. And look, you like to see 2 competitive teams play and then the respect between the teams as they shake hands.
Yeah, and it's good to see them shaking hands in such a respectful manner because this was a tightly contested battle. Bob Ritchie's juiced. He's juiced, and he should be. The fans showed up. Furman showed out. This is a big win in conference play.
Cool moment there is Bob Ritchie hugging his daughter there at midcourt. And you'd like to see the appreciation for the students showing up. There's Chad Warner, assistant coach, former player Jordan Lyons. Tell you what, the fun's in the winning, the joy's in the winning, as Coach Ritchie likes to say. And you got to enjoy moments like this during a long regular season.
No, this was a big-time win, snapping Samford's 8-game winning streak. The mood is good, but I will say this, Bryant. Jalen Slauson absolutely showed out.
There you see Slauson celebrating there late in the game. And look, when it mattered, you said he passed up the first 3-pointer in the corner for a tougher one to force overtime.
It was a big-time shot. That's the kind of shot You want your guy to be able to hit at the end of regulation. Your good players, and he deserved this one. Player of the game, offensive rebounds, 26 points, 11 boards, and a massive shot at the end of the game. And in the first half, he was the guy that was creating those hustle plays and getting some easier buckets. He was awesome from start to finish.
BMW player of the game, Jalen Slauson. What a night. Moments like this is why Jalen Slauson says he came back for his 5th year, the BMW player of the game. Terrence, if you got any thoughts left, I'd love to hear them.
I think I ran out of them, and that doesn't happen all that often. But, man, what a competition. Both teams competing hard. This Samford team, they're as good as advertised, as is Furman, and it's going to continue to be good the rest of this regular season.
Hey, these two teams will do it again to wrap up the season February 25th in Birmingham. They've met all the way back to 1925. I think we'll be saying the 2023 matchup, I should say, was a classic. Great job, Jeff Schefzel, his entire ESPN crew. For Terrence Ogilvie, I'm Bryant Lambert saying so long for Greenville, where your Paladins have a big win in overtime, 91-84. All games broadcast on ESPN are subject to copyright on the ESPN families and networks. So long, everybody. What a night in the Southern Conference.